Boom. What's happening, everybody? Man, this is John Kitchens, and you guys are here for episode 73 of Expert Mentors Live. Man, super excited for today's episode. We've got business partners James Massey and Ronald on, and we're going to talk about how to build your brokerage within a brokerage by hosting awesome agent events. So I'm sure you guys are going to have questions. You can drop them in the Q&A in the chat if you're watching this recording. Man, just drop them wherever you find it on Facebook or in Wistia, or man, shoot James and Ron a message. We'll give you the best contact information at the end of today's episode. So, fellas, man, say hello to the Honey Badger Nation.
What's up, Honey Badgers?
Honey Badgers, what's going on?
Man, I'm really excited for today's event because today's episode, because there's a lot of talk about, man, how do we grow our organization? How do we grow our brokerage? And, you know, all the buzz of, hey, man, you got to do events, or you've got to be able to invite them to events. You've got to do this. And a lot of people just don't even know where to start, right? So they become paralyzed. They don't even take action. And I'm really excited for you guys to share over the last 12, 14, 15 months or whatever it's been, this process that you guys have gone through. And there's some key words from a consistency that you guys have been, you know, unbelievably consistent over the last 12, 15 months. And, you know, the results, you know, show it. So I'm super excited for you guys to dive in. But before, give a little context about the two of you and, you know, business partners, and, you know, we don't have to go way back, you know, the whole story, but give a little context of kind of the business situation, kind of previous EXP, currently EXP, you know, when you made the transition, what it looked like, and then we can fast forward to what it looks like today, and then we can dissect, unpack, and give everybody the framework that you guys have followed for events and how well they're really working for you.
Okay, great. I guess me and Ron, we actually started off as investors first when we, you know, it's younger because I'm kind of older now, but you know, I have my license about 7 years now, and you know, we did 3 years just by myself. Ron did 3 years by himself and decided to join together and create a team. And you know, we were actually with 2 brokerages beforehand. You know, just establishing everything and setting everything up. And, you know, about a year, been 12 months, we made the transition over to EXP, which literally was the best decision that we could have ever made. So Ron, you want to go into it from leaving something out with that, the backstory, since we can't go way back anyway.
Yeah, we have a lot of history. We'll just gloss over, but we're childhood friends too. We're more like family, and so I can't get rid of them. So we said we might as well work together.
You guys do. You guys complement each other really, really well. You know, we were joking about even coming to the live events, like even out at Gove's last event. You know, I mean, Ron's all business, and you know, James down on the strip, right? So it's just a good balance, a yin and a yang with each other that I just getting to know you guys, what's made it work so well. So what was the team structure before you guys made the move to EXP? I get, you know, what did that look like, agent headcount, and then, you know, what were you guys doing to try to get agents to come on board at that point?
Go ahead, James.
Yeah. So the agent headcount before we came over, we had you know, we had a transaction coordinator / database manager. We had a marketing person that helped with all our marketing information, and we had my mom. She kept our books, and then also we had you know, 4 team members before we came on board. So the biggest thing that we're looking at is like, hey, you know, are the team members are going to be okay with the split difference that, you know, that we were dealing with? So that was the thing that we didn't quite understand. Before we had a smaller split, but with no cap, which, you know, terrible. It was terrible.
Yes.
You know, long term with the amount of money that we had ended up paying into it. Some of the things that we did for marketing, obviously, to bring forth agents in, we used to put out there, you know, not, you know, them being able to not have to, you know, recruit, you know, have to call back leads. That was a big thing. Like, hey, you don't have to call back leads when you're on our team. We're going to give you training when you're on our team. We're going to show you how to get more money for commissions when you're on our team. Dang, stop. Yeah, did y'all hear me with that one?
No, I mean, that's fantastic. And I think the thing, you know, you're kind of diving into the value proposition for the current team members that you guys had. But how did you go about trying to recruit and get agents on board before EXP? What was that process like? Yeah,
what we used to do is, you know, like with anybody else, we'll do the Indeed ad, we'll do a Craigslist ad, we'll do social media stuff, just trying to attract people to our team. But like I said, the value proposition was, hey, we're going to be able to get you business. And, you know, it really didn't have very much more than that. But, you know, when we went over to EXP, the value proposition was a lot better because now we're able to offer stock. Now we're able to offer revenue share. We're able to offer outside training outside of even ourselves, which was a whole lot better. So those are some of the things that we actually did in order to bring in business.
I think we lost him there,
yeah.
Ron. You can kind of pick up there, you know, previous what that looked like, and then, you know, running the traditional, right? I mean, that's where I think a lot of, man, trying Indeed, you know, Craigslist, just wherever we can get, you know, that out. Hey, we're hiring.
That's
and,
it.
You know, it's just exactly what James was sharing was, you know, the traditional lead with leads, right? We're going to give you leads. And man, you talk about setting yourself up for failure and pain. But I mean, that was really the main hook from a value proposition that we all had previous to EXP.
Right. Yeah. And it, you know, it got to a point too where we would have to turn people away, you know, from joining the team just because we felt like there weren't enough leads or we couldn't set enough appointments for them. And we realized under that model, it doesn't matter if we gave them, you know, 10 leads or 1,000 leads, it still wouldn't have been enough, you know? So that model, you know, I'm glad we're in a better model now. So it's been very freeing being in this model.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And on top of that, you know, what we would do, you know, we were very limited in what we could say to the agents because everyone specialized, right, in our old team structure. So if we had an OSA or outside sales agent on the team, all they did was meet with buyers or sellers. And in that scenario, we didn't necessarily train them on how to generate business themselves or how to set appointments themselves. All they did was meet with buyers and sellers. And so we felt like if we train them, then we're training up our competition. And if we didn't train them, we're limiting their growth. And so it was like a catch-22 in that setup. You know, either we're raising up competition who's going to go out and do what we do and do it against us, or, you know, we can't help them grow and be better agents, and then they end up leaving anyway.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's just a scarcity mindset in the model. And you know, when you look at the team model, I mean, the fundamental flaw in the team model is that people come out the top.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's that catch-22, right? Do you want them trained or not trained to deal with your clients? Well, I mean, the answer is you want them trained to deal with your clients. You want your clients to have an amazing experience, but then it's like, well, I know they're going to leave unless I can manufacture some type of opportunity. But at the end of the day, the model doesn't allow financially to do that, right? So that's where the beautiful thing with EXP is they solved that problem by, you know, like I would be excited for somebody to come off of the team structure, team support, to where they're their own, you know, not on a half cap, or if you're a bigger team, a quarter cap. Man, I would be encouraged for them to come out of the minor leagues and get into the big leagues to where they're a full capping agent, right? Take advantage of Icon. I mean, I would feel proud as a team leader, team owner, to like, man, I got 12 icon agents, right? You know, I mean, that's something that, you know, when you really look at it, because I mean, just think about that. I mean, you're changing people's lives at that point, more so than what you're already doing. So it's fantastic. I wanted to give, you know, talk through that a little bit as we make this transition to where you guys are at EXP now, and then we'll start to unpack, you know, what we're doing from an agent attraction standpoint. So we came over to EXP, the two of you, and then 4 team members. So we had organizational headcount of 6, right?
Yep. Right.
So what was kind of the first steps and first things that you guys really started to work on as you were getting your head around agent attraction before we move into the events? I mean, when you see this, you've got a better value proposition, then, you know, kind of what was, you know, what was like, hey man, how are we going to attack this? How are we going to grow our organization?
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we made the transition over, you know, initially we lost, like, immediately. We lost 2 of the agents who we brought over. We really didn't seek help from our upline to kind of show us how to bring a team over. So we lost 2, and then the other 2, you know, not too long afterwards, they stayed with EXP, which was great for them, but they got off of our team. So it worked out for them. And then, you know, just on a side note, one of those 2 who left originally, they just came back last week to EXP. So it was great, you know, to have her back after a year.
They're all coming. They're all coming. They'll come back. It's just a matter of time.
That's it. And it was a very tough transition for us leaving our old brokerage. We, you know, that brokerage was a new, you know, younger brokerage, and we were doing quite a, you know, bit of business within that brokerage, and they just didn't want to lose our production, because, like James had mentioned, we weren't capped. So they got paid forever off of our production, and when we had left them, they held our license up, they, you know, held commissions, the whole 9. And so, you know, James and I just kind of made a pact. We said, hey, you know, I'm going to focus on doing deals, and you focus on bringing as many people with us as possible. And we just kind of put our heads down and ran real fast for the next 90 days. We didn't fully understand what the opportunity had to offer with EXP, but, you know, that kind of set a foundation, because from that initial 90 days, the people who we brought with us to EXP, you know, it showed us that we can definitely do this, you know, at a high level, and we can win, and we can, continue to tell more people about it. So that was a thing we did. It was more of an accident, you know, that it worked that way. We didn't know the long-term effects of it. We were just saying, hey, guys, you guys should consider leaving this brokerage, you know, for the same reasons we left. And then they had already decided. We didn't have to tell them that, but everyone was just kind of thinking where they were going to go.
Yeah, I think it's a really powerful lesson for everybody listening in, is overcoming that and trusting the decision, right? And I'm pro partnership, right? I'm big time pro partnership, and the number one thing that I always tell partners is divide and conquer. And I mean, you guys did that instinctively. And I think, you know, there's a lot of trust there with each other, with the history. You guys have known each other forever. And so it's like, hey, I'm getting in this lane and I'm going. You get in this lane and you go, and we'll meet down the road. But let's put our heads down and get to work. So to me, that's that's a great lesson for everybody listening in. But then also everybody listening in to, you know, shit, it's going to be hard. They're going to hold my license. They can't hold it forever. They can't, they just legally cannot do that to you. It's the short-term pain, right? For the long-term gain. And just understand what's the bigger prize, what's the bigger opportunity. And so those are a couple of profound things that you share that I know go through a lot of people listening in, going in through their thought process. And then also they're having conversations with people like that. So it's like, man, it ain't forever, right? I mean, what's the big prize, right? What's the goal for you? So it's short term. So that's fantastic. So you guys got in, and James, you can speak to this a little bit. Like I know Ron's running. He's trying to do deals. He's trying to keep revenue coming in. He's trying to keep you guys, you know, paid. So like kind of share like where your main focus went with trying to figure this out, unpack it. It's like, man, how can we grow and take advantage of this, attraction opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, like when we start seeing the model with EXP, our first thing was, hey, now we have another revenue stream that we can actually grow, but more importantly, we can actually help other people grow as well. So right away, I started kind of just talking to folks, and my conversation was, I don't know if you remember, Ron, it was always, hey, we're in this together. That was my tagline. I always said to everybody, hey, we're in this together. So you come over, everything that we're doing for marketing, we're going to share with you. Everything we're doing to build our business, we're going to share it with you. Everything that we're doing to build our team, we're going to also share that with you as well. So I don't know if it's there. It looks like it stopped a little bit.
You guys got that good internet like we do here in North Dallas.
But it's crazy, like what James is saying, like that birth for us, our first event is what it turned into was it was a private group mastermind, and it was just 4 or 5 of us. We get in a room and we share, and it was some of those initial people who we brought to the business were just saying, hey, we're in this together, and that's how the mastermind was birthed for us.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a great takeaway for everybody listening in. I mean, is, what could be my first event? What could it be? What does it need to be? And take care of the people that you have, right? Coming over and coming together, two heads are better than one, 3 better than 2, and so on and so forth, to be able to collectively get together and work through issues and challenges and share from different perspectives to help each other, work through and navigate the water. So that's a great first event that just manifested, right? That just happened. And so talk about, hey, this is cool. This is what we've got here. How can we build on this?
Yeah. So what we did was, we made sure that whatever information went forth, it was impactful in the masterminds. And so we spent a lot of time and energy and effort on putting together good content for that group, because that's like our family, so we wanted to make sure that they get really good info, and that we all got good info. It wasn't just us. Everyone in the group shares. And then I don't know if you remember, John, you actually gave us the structure for it. How to put it all together with the laying out the structure and the flow of the meeting, and that worked out really well. And it's turned into everyone inviting people. We don't advertise this mastermind. It's only by invitation. You have to be a part of the group to come, and then they can invite others. And so now, from there, it's really expanded.
Yeah, it has. And you guys have done a wonderful job with that. What is the frequency, just so everybody listening in, what is the frequency that you do those events? And then, how long are those specific masterminds?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been having this problem with my computer, so I just had to do it on my phone. So I'm holding it up now.
Good.
So it
You're
shouldn't be going off in between conversations right now. But yeah, so we actually do our mastermind event once a month. It's the second Friday of every month, and we're very, very consistent with that. It just became a situation where, like, hey man, if nobody's there and we're talking to seats, we're just going to talk to the seats. But we've had situations where not as many people show up. We always had people show up. In our first one, I think it was 7 of us initially.
How many was here this month? How many was showed up at the last one?
This last one we had on our mastermind was 20. I think it was like 25.
Yeah, 40 people were scheduled to come, but if anybody knows anything about Atlanta traffic, like we had 285 shut down, and several people just couldn't make it. They were in traffic for hours, literally. So some of those people didn't show, but still we had about 25 people who ended up coming.
We had 25 people to show up, but 40 was scheduled, but the traffic deterred some of the other folks. But the last one before that, it was over about 30 30-ish people that showed up to that one. And then our lunch and learns, we've been getting right around about, 15 to 30 people showing up to our lunch and learns as well. And the biggest part of it is I think is just the consistency behind it. When we first started off, we didn't get a lot of people, especially for our lunch and learns. I mean, it was like one person, and it was, I think one time it was 0 people, but we just kept at it, and a couple of times we had to look at ourselves like, hey, is this thing worth it? But, it's gotten to the point now where at least every lunch and learn that we have, there's 1, 2, 3 people that are joining EXP just from my lunch and learn. And our 100%. Mastermind is the same way. Every mastermind that we're having, 1, 2, 3 people are joining within our mastermind group. So I mean, we kind of look back at it now after 12 months, and we're like, man, I'm glad we kept going. I mean, when we looked at it, we was thinking about stopping. That would have been a huge mistake, not only for ourselves, but also for the people that we brought on board, for them to be able to have folks come up under them and change their lives.
It is. It's been, just seeing it from my viewpoint, being able to see it, it's just trusting the process, right? It's no different than anything that you do with the delayed gratification, right? It's like, you're not going to see the results, that day, that week, that month, right? But it starts to compound with the consistency over that time. And so we did the masterminds. We've been right out of about a year, or did those start at the first of the year?
No, it's been about a year. I mean, that was like when I first started talking to people about coming over, and when I was saying that, hey, we're in this together, that's the first thing I promised them. That, hey, we're going to do a mastermind where everybody's going to be able to share and everybody's going to be able to benefit. So we started those right out the gate with those. Like I said, the people really appreciate it. And, and to me, it was one of those things where I made a promise to them. So regardless who shows up, regardless whatever the situation is, regardless what we got going on in my life personally, because I made that promise, we're going to stay consistent with it and make sure we have them and make sure we give good information.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? So if you guys, kind of tuning in and hearing what the guys are saying is that, we're going to help you grow. We're in this together. And there's nothing better than a mastermind structure to be able to collaborate and help people work through their challenges. And then, more so than the lunch and learn, right? I mean, and so kind of transition and let's talk a little bit about the lunch and learn process. You guys went masterminds first. They're not as heavy, once a month, right? Time together. Lunch and learns are a little heavier, right? They take a little more time, consistency. They're almost every week for you guys. So kind of talk through, hey, we made the decision now. Hey, we're good. We're in a good rhythm with our masterminds. Hey, we need to do this lunch and learn thing. So kind of unpack that, what those, look like, as they were to what they are today.
Yeah. So when we first started, the lunch and learns, they were weekly. We would do them, was every Tuesday, I believe, starting at 12, and we go to 1:30. And, and actually we would bring Jay in through Skype, and he would, kind of come in and share, part of his story. And, we would do that weekly, and we found that, it was conflicting because it was taking us away from selling houses. And so what we ended up doing was we scaled back the lunch and learns, and just, it seems like naturally it scaled back up. So now we're back. We have 2 lunch and learns a month, and we're about to add a 3rd one, which is more of an EXP explained event. So like our current lunch and learns, what we do, and we got this format pretty much from the way Michael Reese did it. We brought him here to Atlanta, and he did a lunch and learn, which was more, was more time involved with his, but we saw that he gave a lot of good info, and then, towards the end just told his story. And so we kind of, patterned our lunch and learns after the one Michael Reese did here in Atlanta. And, that's been our format ever since. So we'll talk about a topic that they want to hear. And from there, we transition into what our story is, and then, give them the opportunity to partner with us.
So talk about how you guys go about determining the topic and you keep it fresh. I think a lot of people get hung up there, right? I mean, you guys are really good at protecting and getting more commission. I know that's kind of the lead value that you guys can train from. You, like said, hey, I need you guys to go into this city and give a training. You'd be like, okay, well, we'll just teach on how to get more commission, right? You don't even flinch. And I think everybody listening in, you guys all have that go-to, right? You have a go-to training. Either you know it or you know it internally. You have something that you can go to that you do really, really well that you can teach. And so you can start from there. And that's what you guys did. But how do you guys go in with different topics, keep it fresh? We're doing two a month. So how are we going about choosing those topics?
Well, one of the things that we've been able to do is partner up with some other people within our line to actually have the lunch and learns at different locations. So Atlanta's kind of big, you know what I'm saying? Especially with the traffic. I mean, anywhere you're trying to go, it's an hour, like literally, a 30-minute drive with no traffic is an hour with traffic, and traffic's going on all times of the day now. So what we start realizing is like, hey, everybody doesn't, is not going to be able to come to our office, but if we partner up with some other folks, then they can actually have a lunch and learn, and then we'll just come and speak at that one. So the topic doesn't have to change very much. The topic can actually be the same because you're going to be attracting agents at different locations. So we do one like here in Atlanta. We do one in our office in Tucker. We got another one going over in Marietta, and we actually got something else going over in Alpharetta. So there's different places that we have them, but the topic, like I said, it doesn't have to change very much because you're attracting different agents at each one of them.
Right. And you're leveraging them, right? If you've got some key rock stars, guys, it's Expert Mentors Live, right? Why we created this, 73rd episode, because there's badass honey badgers galore in this group that want to share and give back, right? It's going to continue to grow. There's going to continue to be more and more people coming in that just want to add value. And so that's the takeaway, right? The guys are doing the same thing, is that as they're growing their downline, they've got talented people that they've attracted to EXP. They don't have to carry the load, provide the space and the time and the location and help navigate that. But you guys don't have to do all the training. You've got rock stars that can come in and add value. So I think that's a great takeaway for everybody listening in, is that you don't have to create it. I just want to give a quick shout out to the ATL crew, because that talent is awesome. So Helen, she's helping out. She started that one mastermind, and now like we come and do. What's that?
Helen and D.
Helen and D. That's right, Helen and D. We've been at one of Levi's. Levi Mars put one together, and we came and did that one. And it's really working well. Tawanda's been stepping up. Everyone here in ATL. Julia, definitely. She can get a crowd out.
Yeah. That's a great lesson for all you guys listening in. As it grows, you're gonna want to leverage those key people, because they want to add value. They want to contribute. And so don't get in the way. Allow it to grow, allow it to flourish. And that's why I was so excited for you guys to jump in and do this Expert Mentors with us, because there's people are out there, they're doing a good job, but you guys are doing an exceptional job, and it's only going to continue to get better, right? And so I think that's a couple of the key lessons here that I want everybody to be thinking about and taking away, is that it's going to grow. Like 12 months from now, this is going to be a completely different conversation than what we're having today, right? It's just going to continue to keep growing. I mean, you guys can't stop it. And so I think that's just really key for everybody to take away. So
one of the things, John, Gene said when we was in Vegas, he was, we were looking over at the crowd. He said, this crowd will never be this small again.
That's right.
And, I actually just took that to heart for ourselves, and, for some of the people that came up from Atlanta, and, that we kind of had a group, because after we all ate together, we started talking. I was like, hey, this crowd is never going to be this small again. Like literally, you know, everybody's going to start coming up and everybody's going to start growing and building off of it.
That's right. 100%. And so I'm just going to kind of give everybody kind of tuning in, just kind of the linear process that you guys went through. It's, you know, getting over, starting with the mastermind, committing to once a month, right? Helping people. Hey, we're in this together. We're going to grow through this. Okay. We've got a lunch and learn type framework. We've seen it, right? We've got to see experience with Michael, the process that he goes through. We incorporated Jay, right? You know, Jay does EXP Explain live every Thursday at 1:00 Central. Sometimes it's live if he's not traveling. If he's traveling, it's recorded, but you can create a lunch and learn around that. And so you guys incorporated lunch and learns. Now, still continuing to add value. We're in this together. What is the other key point, the other key communication with your organization that's allowed, staying face-to-face, staying, where we're continuing to blow belief? What are you guys doing on a weekly basis with your organization?
Yeah. So the other thing that we do is we do what we call a Monday focus meeting. And, we do that in the cloud and EXP world. And basically what we do is we meet at 9:00. It's an hour, quick little hour. And, we'll pick a quick little topic to talk about. But more importantly, we get to get in front of, people within our line and ask them like, hey, what things do y'all need help with? What things that that can make your business better? And then everybody kind of talks about it and answers questions right then and there. So we don't have to be the ones all the time to have the answers for it, but within the group, there's always an answer that there's always someone that's going to be able to give an answer that's going to help the next person. Yeah.
No, it's cool. Hopefully you guys caught that. They're in the world, right? They get everybody in the avatar, get into the world. So you're really conditioning and training your organization, your downline of people to get in the world, right? Get in the world, get comfortable with it, get used to it. Cause it's amazing, right? I was in there yesterday in a meeting with all the influencers at EXP, just like, it's so cool, right? You're in there, but it's conditioned training, getting them in there on a consistent basis so they know they can go in there, they can navigate, they can ask questions, they can solve their problems quickly. And kudos to you guys for that. So, if you guys, anybody listening in, you have your team, man, get them used to getting in there. So let me ask you, and I don't think I've ever asked you guys this before, but do you allow, like if they're trying to recruit somebody, to use a guest pass to bring them in so they can kind of navigate through the world as well?
We haven't done that as of yet, but it is definitely something that we're gonna start doing after you just gave that suggestion.
that was like, man, what a great other attraction tool. It's like, hey, we meet in the world. If you really want to see what it's all about, I can get you a guest pass and you can join us for our, usually just really for our team meeting that we have in there. I think you might find some value. If I could get you a guest pass, would you join us? Right. So using some of those magic words.
One of the things, John, the reason why we actually started the Monday focus meeting is we started noticing that the people within our line, they wasn't taking advantage of the fullness of what EXP and with being connected to NAEA had to offer. We started noticing that, hey, if we start asking them about, did you, were you on Honey Badgers? Did you see the interview that John did? And like, no, I didn't see any interview. Or we say, hey, did you go in and hear Brent Gold, agent attraction meeting? No, I didn't know about that. Or, whatever it was that was going on, they actually never knew about it. So it's like, hey, what is it that we can do to really get everybody connected? And then also get their teams connected, their team members connected, and then other people that they brought on board that may not be on their team connected into the whole process. So it's like, hey, if we did this Monday focus meeting, not only will we be able to talk about a topic that can help their real estate business, but also getting them plugged into everything that EXP has to offer and NAE has to offer. So one of the things that we do in every meeting, we're going over is like, hey, honey badgers have a 12 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock on our side. So honey badgers have a 12 o'clock meeting in Facebook with 12 o'clock meeting on Facebook at 12 o'clock on Tuesday. And by the way, they also have one on Wednesday at 1 o'clock on our time. Brick Goals has a 2:30 on our time in the world. And then, so we're constantly letting them know all the information, everything that's out there, so they can get plugged in.
Shoot, that's gold. I mean, it's, people, we never want to assume anything for especially for another human being, right? We never want to assume that they know that they have this information, and it's just being able to provide it, and we need to be reminded more than we need to be told, right? So it's a lot of reminding them of, hey, this is what you got going this week. This is what you got to take advantage of. It's really articulating the value, not only with EXP, but aligning with you guys, right? Here's our whole value proposition here. Are you taking advantage? Are you plugged in? Are you solving this problem, right? And I think that's, just creating the space to allow that communication to flow. And you guys are doing a great job with that piece as well. So let's back up for a second on these events and getting them set up. From a cost association standpoint, are you guys doing anything to offset those expenses? Is it something that now you're taking on, you're carrying that burden, or kind of what is the financial component aspect of these events look like?
Well, yeah. You want to go into that, Ron?
Yeah, because
you can talk about the Lunch and Learn first, and then just talk about the mastermind and how that got sponsored. Or initially how we paid for it.
Right. So we thought, which I guess we had to initially pay for everything, right? Like we thought like we had to come out of pocket, so we started coming out of pocket. So for the masterminds, we came out of pocket and we bought chips and water. So since then we've graduated. The one this past Friday it was catered, and there was jerk chicken and yellow rice and veggies and the whole nine. And we didn't pay a dime for it. So we have vendor partners who get involved with us. And in fact, we invited a couple vendor partners at this past one. One is an attorney, and then we had two different lenders to come out. One lender who we already have a relationship with, and then another lender who's trying to get our business. So we invited them out so they can see the flow of the event. And the attorney was already he gets it. He understands that, EXP is the fastest growing brokerage in history. He wants to partner up with anybody who can in front of agents. So it wasn't a hard sell for him. So they've already gotten business from it. He's already closing deals from other agents who are in the room at that mastermind. So it was great for him. And then the lender partner, which he's a high producing loan officer within his company. And, he doesn't come out of his office very often. So to get him out was a big deal. So he came out and he was blown away. So we showed him, how we do our masterminds, and immediately, like I didn't even have to ask him anything. We walked outside. He asked me like, how can I be a part of it? So I just told him, be patient. We have this new one that's coming up. And, he said like even the structure of how we put it all together, he said he's going to take that and use it with his business, and how he operates. So I thought that was cool. So thanks again for that, John.
It's a great tool for you guys to be able to leverage with all of your vendors, right? We talk about, the vendor attraction, vendor program. And sometimes, in the past, it's always been, how can I contribute to your marketing efforts? And I think when you look back and you're like, oh, well, what are all the ways that we can really benefit from this relationship? And, I always go back to the classic of, our pest control guy in Lawton, right? When we were in Lawton, slinging houses, we had our pest control guy. And, he would under the table, provide to our marketing efforts. But, he finally walked in one day because, you know, Kinder's houses, you know, my houses, and he, you know, we'd like, hey, call him up. Hey, Mac, man, I got like, I don't know what I got going on, but I got spiders everywhere at my house. Can you hook me up? And so he came back in one day and he's like, you know what? I'll take care of your guys' houses personally and never charge you a penny. And you don't have me pay or contribute anything. Can we work that deal out? And we're like, heck yeah. So just, I share that for you to give, for everybody to get some context, is that how can you make a win-win, right? You have a home inspector that you do a lot of business with that may or may not be contributing to the business, but maybe he can sponsor a lunch, you know, once a month. You know, I know we've got an agent down in Tyler, Texas that she does a luncheon every week that has valet service, and she has one of her people pay for the valet service, right? So there's all the different ways that you can help offset these expenses. But I hope all of you listening in caught, man, we had chips and we had soda at our first event.
But we
had soda. We had water and chips. So just know, man, you got to start somewhere, and then it continues to build. You know, incorporating, bringing people in when they see you're adding value, they want to be a part of it, because you got to think most of those people, they're not plugged into an environment like what you guys are able to create, right? It's a whole new experience for them, and they're blown away. And so, you know, I think that's a great lesson for everybody listening in, is that, man, incorporate them, bring them in. Don't ask for money right from the get-go, right? It's the whole Gary V, you know, let's deposit some value before we throw that hook at them. So no, that's fantastic. I love that. What else are you guys doing or anticipating? Hold on. I want to give everybody some context. 12 months ago, we actually started working together 12 months ago, and you guys were just making the move to EXP, right? And still had closings at the other brokerage. So we hadn't even closed everything out yet. So for everybody listening in, 6, lost 2, we're at 4 12 months ago. Kind of share some numbers with everybody. I want to give some context so they understand that, hey, consistency, they can be at the same place. So how many do we have frontline, and what is our total organization count?
You know that, James?
Yeah, our frontline, we personally recruited 19 agents onto our front lines, and those 19 have turned into 92 total agents at this point. Plus, we got another, I think, 3 or 4 that's onboarding that are personal recruits, and then some of our people that we brought on board that they have other folks. They have a few people that have been committed to coming on board as well.
Yeah, we'll be at the tipping point by the end of the year, and it's you get to that 150 mark, it just, so, you know, the guys are there, and it's a testament to the consistency and, you know, just really creating the space to have the value added conversation. So I just want to just kind of emphasize and recap: masterminds, adding value; lunch and learns, adding value; getting into the world, adding value; adding value to the vendors. The vendors want to be a part of it. And so when you're so focused on helping others grow, I think that was for me, from you, James, sharing, hey, we're in this together. How can I help you? And when you have that perspective and an abundance mindset, then, you know, man, it's going to come back around. So great job there. What is on the horizon? Like, what are kind of the next iterations on what you guys are doing to process, improve, get a little bit better events, additional events, anything kind of that we're forecasting out?
Yes. Oh, you got it? Go ahead.
No, you got it.
So we have been talking to, when we were in Vegas, we met with Brent Gove's, one of his partners, Rob, and you know, just let me tell a funny story how I met him. So when we were at the mixer, you know, I didn't have on my name badge. So people who know me know I don't like wearing name badges. So he stopped me in a nice way, like, hey, can I help you? And I'm like, oh, I pulled out my badge in my pocket. He's like, oh, okay, so you belong here. But long story short, he gave us a quick tour and like kind of behind the scenes, and it was cool. We got to like really make a connection with him. And he gave us his contact info. And so we hit him up when we got back home, and we set up a time to talk with him. And I mean, he shared a lot of good info with us about what Brent is doing, and, you know, how they put together events, how they even do lunch and learns and, you know, local events, plus the other stuff. And, you know, one of the things he mentioned was, you know, kind of this EXP explained process. So the way they do their lunch and learns, it's just straight EXP explained. And so we thought, you know, we probably should do that. If that's what Brent Gove's doing, we probably should do it too. So, so
Probably
that's
a good idea.
yeah, exactly. So that's what's on the horizon for us. You know, we plan on doing, you know, adding that fourth week, that the fourth week of the month, you know, we'll have an EXP explained event, and that'll be a bigger event is the game plan to make that one huge.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. The thing here too, guys, you might be like, man, you know, that's a lot, right? Remember, they start out with one, added two more, now adding the fourth, and incorporating more and more as it grew. And as it grows, guys, you can lean on the other people. And there's two key things that has been an observation for me with you guys over the last 12 months is that, and hopefully you guys are, all of you tuning in, listening to this episode, here's the one key thing with these guys. They do not miss events, right? In Vegas, and even if it's a divide and conquer, they divide and conquer. They do not miss events, period. You hear Jay jump up and down about that. If you're serious about growing your organization, growing your business, you do not miss events. I don't think you guys have missed an event. I mean, shoot, James, you came to agent to CEO. Ron couldn't make it, but that didn't stop, right? But you were at the event. And so that's a huge takeaway, because what they're seeing and then they're modeling and then they're implementing into their business, right? Their mastermind format is the mastermind format that we've been running for 8 years, right? And so and then picking Brent Gove's brain because they were at the event to be able to get some feedback and implement into their business. So that's a huge, huge takeaway from you guys. I mean, get to the events, model what's working, and it'll take a lot of pressure off of you trying to figure it out. You don't have to figure it out. It's already been, figured out. You can iterate and make it better, but there's really no true reason to reinvent the wheel for what's really working well across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jay says all the time, I mean, you want to sit next to the smartest guy in class. So we just try to mimic that same process. Yeah.
You guys have got away with being quiet for long enough. We're definitely, getting you guys on this and, incorporating some feedback in the masterminds, because you guys you've been amazing students, and, really getting back in implementation, man, taking action. I think that's some of the biggest takeaways that you guys listening in is, it's modeling it, but then it's putting it into play, leveraging the key people around you. You've got, you guys have grown an incredible organization. I mean, the 19 plus growing on the front line, plus even in the down line it's unbelievable. What would you say percentage wise out of all of those people are in the ATL? Majority of them?
What do you say there, Ron? I'm not quite sure. I mean, probably maybe 50%, 60%?
Maybe something like that, yeah. So there's 14, 15 people in Canada. There's a couple people in Carolina. There's, 5 or 6 people in California. So it's, it's spread out pretty good, but probably maybe about half of them are here in Atlanta. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, these are live events. I know, the Monday Focus in the world is an opportunity for everybody across the country to come in. Is there anything on these events that, are we streaming people in? Can they virtually attend, or is it just physical attendance only?
No, we've actually been talking about that actually, because even within our mastermind, we've had several people say, hey, could y'all record it so that we can actually get the information? And we haven't had a process for that as of yet, but it is something that we're looking in. And I think, one person actually did say to be able to stream it.
Yeah. I mean, these are fun problems to solve, right?
That's right.
These are fun problems to have. And I think that is another iteration, moving forward. You didn't have to figure that out 12 months ago or 6 months ago. It's something that's, as you guys are continuing to grow, you're getting this high-class problems, right? Fun problems to be able to solve for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's been great. I mean, we've taken the whole, making real estate fun again slogan, and we run with it, and not just with these events with agents. I mean, we're doing that on the real estate sales side. We're doing housewarming events and all that. So the business has taken a shift overall, not just with agent attraction, but also on the real estate side. And it's, just from being around people, like you mentioned, at these events and hearing what they're saying and actually internalizing that and making it our own and saying, okay, yeah, let's have fun with this. Let's be ourselves, So, James, when we used to play football in high school, his nickname was Ant-Man. That's what the coach called him, Ant-Man. And so we say, at work, we don't let Ant-Man come out. But I've been telling them for about the past year, like, hey, we need Ant-Man. Just be yourself, So with these events, Ant-Man is coming out more and more.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that bit of insight. Oh, that's greatness.
No, I'm just going to preface it by saying ants are very strong creatures, and that's the reason why they call me Ant-Man. I was short but very strong. Power.
That's fantastic. Great job. Definitely a lot there that you guys shared. I appreciate you guys jumping on and being true expert mentors. If anybody listening in wanted to kind of pick your brain, get a little more insight, what would be the best way for them to connect with you guys?
They can definitely message either one of us. We're always answering through Facebook. Or just reaching out to us directly. I mean, my phone number, for anybody who wants to know, is 678-858-9910, 678-858-9910, or send me an email. It's Massey, james.massey@masseymore.com.
Yep. Or you can just go to my digital card, which is ronaldmore.work. I'm sorry, Ronald.Moore. What is it? Ronald Moore.
Figure it out, man.
I got to figure it out.
You can
work. Ronald Moore.
There you go.
Brain freeze.
I love it. You can tell these guys love having fun and definitely making real estate fun again for sure. Any final takeaways? Any like, man, hey, if you guys take away one thing from today, and if you haven't started, do this. Or whatever it may be. What is some, one final takeaway for everybody listening in?
I mean, mine would be, just to get started. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You want to, if you never started, I mean, it's never going to happen for you. And then not getting frustrated if it doesn't happen exactly the way you think it's supposed to happen when you do start. I've always been one of those type of people where, I'll do things and then, I'll start tweaking it along the way to get it better. So even like, with the lunch and learns, in the mastermind, me and Ron talk all the time and say, hey, man, we just need to add this to it and add that to it and change this about it. You're building a car in the midst of driving it. And, that's just always been my whole thing. But, if you never start, you never even, have an opportunity to really even know what you need to fix. So yes, I would just say get started.
Love it. Ron, any other key takeaways to add to that?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned earlier, just the consistency. Consistency is the key to breakthrough. So when we have those lunch and learns and in the beginning where there weren't that many people coming, like James said, we would just talk to the chairs if we had to. It was good practice. And so now, even today, we had a lunch and learn, that we were literally in the middle of today. We had to end it, or not end it, but we had to leave early to come do this call with you. And, we couldn't let the lunch and learn not happen just because we weren't there. So we actually Dan Hillsman come in, and he closed it out for us. So we appreciate that. And like that consistency, if we say we're going to have it on this day, we have to have it regardless.
And there's another takeaway right there. Leverage your people, right? Leverage your upline. Dan's in the upline. Leverage your upline. I mean, it's so dang powerful. I mean, you guys do a wonderful job with that, right? You take advantage of Al and Jay and Michael and up to Coach Cliff to Brent Gove. I mean, those are all part of your upline. So not being afraid to take advantage of them, because like James said, man, we're all in this together, and that's how we get where we want to go. And again, man, I appreciate you guys making the time and jumping in and coordinating things around with the schedule. For those of you guys listening in, I know you'll get a ton out of this one. This will be one you definitely want to go back and, when you do, give lots of love to these guys for taking the time and sharing and, really being true expert mentors. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and look forward to catching you guys on the next episode.
All right, John. Thanks, John.